Hello there guys, it's Joey and it's all natural today. I bet you forgot what it looked like, didn't you? Didn't you? Didn't you? Anyway, today's video is Tales of a Fox-Bound Hedge Witch. We're going to have a look at some products at the very end, but first we're going to have a good discussion about some Fox Hedge magic. If you're on Patreon, this is going to be the first videos that you will see. This is going to be the free one for everybody, and there are going to be 2 more following this on Patreon, so keep your eye out for those. They're going to be exciting. They're going to be going into depth. We're going to be looking at connection. We're going to be looking at spells. So for this video, we're going to be talking about the idea of the hedge-bound fox witch, which is something that I kind of play around with. There's an essay that I created that was published on badwitch.es, and it talks about what I feel this energy to be. So we're going to be referencing it. It's my own words, so it's all me. And why I wanted to talk about foxy energies today, and then finish up with the first of the autumnal sets for Story-Eyed Supplies for 2018. We feeling autumn yet? We feeling it? Because I'm feeling it. I'm getting into my autumn groove. So the beginning of this energy starts off with a quote by Albert Camus. The only way to deal with an unfree world is to become so absolutely free that your very existence is an act of rebellion. This, I think, feeds into a world right now which is very much about censorship, control, silencing people. You can see this in many spheres of life. You can see it when people talk about things that make people feel uncomfortable. I can see it when people are fighting on behalf of other people rather than the powers that be. You can see it in the microcosm as well as in the macrocosm, if you like. You can see it on like a small niche basis. You can see it within pagan circles, you can see it within witch circles, you can see it in the populace at large, and you can see it across societies within government and places of power. There is a lot of control and restraint and silencing attempting to going on. But we as witches, especially if you've got a little foxy energy in you, have to reject that. What does it mean to embody this act of rebellion, of being free, of what I've come to associate fox energy with, in that fox hedge witch energy? The knowledge that this world is a complete system of otherness and interconnected tendrils of energy that go unseen and largely rejected by the masses is a grave and burdensome responsibility that weighs heavily on the mind of many a witch. So if you're with the podcast, you'll know all about the spiritual ecosystem, you'll know all about otherness. If you're not quite sure about what I mean, I'm going to just explain that a little bit. So what are these energies? So otherness, it's when you see the world behind the world, when you interact with spirits, when you feel the energies of things and see the currency of the universe flowing through everything, the interconnectedness, and I call it the spiritual ecosystem. A lot of witches feel it's a heavy burden because they feel got at, they feel mocked, they feel derided. So how do we maintain devious little twinkle in our eye and constitution of resolute defiance? We learn to embody our own personal brand of witchcraft so completely, so authentically, so purposefully that we free ourselves from the restrictive bonds of hateful suppression. So our own personal brand of witchcraft isn't so much about like a brand as in this is what you're displaying and to be recognized. This is who you are so authentically in your bones, that you just embody that. You can't be anything else, because why would you want to be? And I think that's a really interesting lesson of fox magic, when fox magic gets portrayed as cunning and distrustful and lying and stuff. And we're going to go into that in a minute. But this is what I feel that the energy of authenticity kind of strides around. We dare the world to challenge us, not from a slew of arrogant worlds that reveal us to be prickly with the opinions from outside of ourselves, but by embracing the inner rebel in glorious, unabridged freedom of thought and feeling. This, as with many things when tied to witchcraft, is this journey of cycles, learning how to handle our experiences, ascertain why certain circumstances have us chomping at the bit to delve deeper into the esoteric mysteries, and why other energies leave us covered in gloomy cloud or petulant outbursts. For me, much of that inner vibration has been tied to my animal, my energy, my spirit, Le Fox. Critical and mocking outsiders have sought to devalue the energy of the fox and even claimed that I am not allowed to engage with it. Yeah. The totem animals are not allowed if you follow a Celtic tradition, supposedly. And that fox energy somehow makes my connection to the goddess Morrigan less valid. These are real examples, by the way. It's kind of sad that I've had thrown at me, that I am not a so-called real witch. Now, as it happens, historical and mythological information is on my side, said the historian, for whatever it's worth. There are examples from Celtic mythology as the Celts being animists, having rich mythologies around the magical art of shapeshifting, as well as to the connection of the goddess Morrigan, whom I follow, if you weren't sure by now. Now, this comes from War Goddess the Morrigan and her Germano-Celtic counterpart Thesis by Angelique Gulmovrich Epstein. And it is a quote from the myth. Hooded crows or women from the sea, lying wolves, that is the false demons, the Maragana, the falsehood, so that they, the Banseed and hooded crows are not demon, falsehood, so they are not demons of hell, but demons of air. They double the cries of the foxes and they double the cries of the hooded crows. So it's there within the mythology, and I'm going to also say that it's in a lot of Brigid mythology, where the fox helps guide her through woodlands. It's about the liminal, finding the way, knowing the old ways, knowing the paths. Okay. It's a hard lesson to trust your intuition in the evolution of your personal gnosis. I have found that doing so in due course will lead you to a plethora of information that cements your innate knowing with the knowledge held by your ancestors. Ultimately, your ancestors are your spiritual backup, and your interconnectedness to the spiritual ecosystem so completely intertwines, and you should be so assured in your spiritual path that intuition can guide you. It's the process by which we learn to shirk off the unwelcome bonds that other people, often strangers, seek to attach to our lives. Personal gnosis is freedom, it's rebellion in a lot of ways. It's not to discard mythology, never. It's not to discard hard work, never. It's not to sit there around making stuff up without really searching and doing the work. No, not at all. Hashtag Virgo, never going to tell you not to do the work. But yeah, personal gnosis can be liberating when you learn to trust yourself and what you feel is deep and meaningful. So whilst it is good to find examples within mythology and folklore, these are stepping stones to the deep pools of personal experience. Okay. So let's get foxy with it. We have to engage our inner fox and find our way to safe passages through the woods of people's opinions, where trees are felled to the cries of the offended and the chopping block hammers with the intentions of those determined to cut off and cut out your particular brand of individuality. Fox has been besmirched for centuries, called a trickster, ridiculed for cleverness and cunning. It was an odd day not long ago that someone thought to throw this insult at me, as though my animal equated to insincerity, clearly not understanding the roots of what cunning actually means. The etymology shows the word derives from the Old Norse kuna, which means to know. And perfect, seeing as one of the modern mandates given to witches alongside know thyself, it seems perfectly acceptable of an analysis to Fox to me that humans have forgotten what they once knew. And I think engaging with Fox energy can take us back to a place of instinct, a place of personal gnosis, Foxes know the ways through the woods almost instinctually. Fox knows which paths are safe to tread and which are not, as he moves silently, stealthily, and invisible through the hedgerow, and is willing to teach us if we have the wisdom to listen and be still and be present. Fox senses the danger in the light and the darkness. She can teach us to be wary, knowing when to engage situations and when to avoid them. For keen eyesight and cunning intellect will serve us just as well as claws and teeth, which foxes still have. Fox, to me, is the shapeshifter and the magician of the hedgerow, possessing knowledge, wisdom, and magic. He is in complete control of his power and can deepen our instincts and improve our psychic senses when we embrace his wisdom. Fox knows the mysteries of the hedgerow and can freely cross the boundaries, and she will guide us along our hedge-lined paths if we too are swimble, that's me combining swift and nimble, off foot swimble, #swimble. Furthermore, cunning as a term applied to people was associated with witches and those who practiced magic. Sorcerers are too common. Cunning men, wizards, and white witches, as they call them, in every village in which they be sought unto, will help almost all infirmities of body and mind. Robert Burton, Anatomy of Melancholy, 1621. That's an example from History of Witches, wizards being called cunning folk. It's interesting that certain insults are levied at witches as though we invite witch wars and take away from individuals' power, which inevitably it does not do. Even cannot do if we refuse to let it. Instead, we can draw strength from the weirdness that is our power and wear it, own it so completely and so utterly that it strengthens us. And this is a quote that I really like from Game of Thrones, from Tyrion. Never forget who you are, the rest of the world will not. Wear it like armor and it can never be used to hurt you. We reclaim the lessons of our past and we reclaim ourselves, our power. We will not allow anyone to take that away from us. We remember the power in words, the magic in them, and refuse to be part of a system that dumbs it down and makes it offensive. Furthermore, Fox lessons speak of invisibility over translucency. The entire world does not need to know everything about you. In fact, that's a weakness. In a modern world, on social media, Instagram selfies, and living a life on display, we've forgotten the wisdom of secrecy. Some argue that secrecy is deceitful, as though it is immoral to be private about certain aspects of your life and to expect privacy to be respected. But these are the words of those keen to hold everything against you as a weapon. Some lessons of the hedgerow are for you alone, which is not a popular opinion. But either other people will not understand the lessons that you will or are ready for, or simply put, they're just not meant for other people's eyes and ears. There's nothing wrong with this, despite people saying that there is. We all walk the path differently. That doesn't make one right, one wrong. It's just different. But again, in a world desperate to control through transparency, it can almost become an act of rebellion to say this. I suppose it hinges on where you personally feel about the rising popularity of witchcraft in the mainstream, whether you feel elements are being lost to the beauty blogger style presentation that is immensely popular right now, or whether you think more knowledge can only be opening doorways to more things. Me personally, I stand against conformity, and the rise of a cookie cutter image of witchcraft is something I'm not interested in. I'd stand against that. I don't like it. I encourage everyone to embrace their weird. We have videos on this channel already. We've kind of been feeding into that energy recently, to revel in authenticity, to take time and effort to research and practice as much as they are able, to think, to act, to be entirely themselves, to rebel witches. Rebelling is what we were born to do, be other, standing in the liminal, the edges, the magic, and the mysterious places of this world. So this is what we're talking about with the energies of the hedge-bound fox witch. It is looking at liminal space. It's looking at rebellion. It's looking about knowing when to engage, when not to. It's about engaging with your intellect, your brain smarts. There's this weird thing that happens in the world right now where if you're intelligent, you kind of get blackmarked, and it becomes less friendly to people. Like you become haughty or something just because you know stuff. And Fox lessons are all of this. Fox lessons are very much hedge-bound Fox witch lessons are very much about the perception of other people and twisting that perception and living in the liminal and not allowing opinion to dictate who you are as a witch. And coming into autumn, I think these are really important themes, really, really important themes for witches right now, to be ourselves utterly and completely without question. So now I'm going to show you some products. If you're not interested in those, thank you for joining me. If you are, hang about. You may have seen these on Instagram already, at least 2 of them. I don't think I put the candle up on Instagram yet. Oh no, so we've got a thing. So we'll start with the candle. I decided to go with one of the schools for this. I'm going to do a couple of skulls over the autumn and Halloween period. So this is the first one we're going to try with a light. The light here is a bit argumentative. It's a lovely peach orange color and has lots of shimmy, 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 shimmy all the way through. And you can see the different layers, the different interplays of ingredients throughout. It's lovely. I really like it. Then we have the spell oil. Give it a little shake, shake, shake. Shake, 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 shake your booty. Oh, try and get the light. No, come on. There's some lovely colors in it. There we go. Better picture on Instagram where I can argue with the light a little bit better than in this corner. And last but not least, and this is my favorite thing of all things right now, this smudge. And we're going to talk about the energies of the products themselves, don't worry. Oh, do not fall out. So good. I mean, I'm a fox person, so there are certain energies that I associate with foxes and certain scents that I have to have when it comes to foxes, and it has to be right because it's my animal, so I'm very fussy. I don't want anything spicy anywhere near my fox energy. It would just be wrong to me. It's all very much about the deep, earthy, liminal, in-between, unusual otherness, witchiness, you know, the hedgerow. Yum. So the temple of the hedge-bound fox witch is the hedgerow, but it's taking you on a journey of inward contemplation to outward magic. It's traveling and it is the camera going, woo, magic, woo, okay. We good camera. Did I freak you out? So it is about magic. It is about traveling to this temple. The temple is brambles and vines and fruits of the hedgerow, and the hedgerow opening up before us, and fox leading the way through the woodlands on the other side that you didn't even know they were there because they're in the other world, and you're traversing and following old ways and old trodden paths and hearing memories on the wind. It is beautiful. It is autumn in the air because this is an autumnal set anyway, but it really just lends itself to that energy of things falling, decaying, rotting, and going into the ground to become compost, to give birth to new life eventually. But it is that position of letting go of the chains, the confinement of the mundane world, and learning to be more, learning to see beyond that, and the hedgerows surrounding and encouraging and really breathing deep of like the old ways, the old magics, the things that human beings have forgotten. And it's just I just love it. And the candle and the oil fill into these energies too. Of course, the smudge just helps with the energetic vibration of building that temple within your own space. And it's my favorite. It's my favorite right now. It's so good. Oh, you can smell it through the thing. I will also say here, just quickly, because I'm not going to do a whole video for this one, but we have started doing the aura sprays. Blade Over Shield is on store, and as of this morning, so is All Hallows. Now this smells like basic full bitch in a bottle because I love it. It's pumpkin spice, but it's starry pumpkin spice. It's not just typical pumpkin spice. It's like It's like fall witch on crack, basically. And it's for wishing and attraction and new beginnings and all that great stuff. That's already on the store, though. That's just a side note. So if you're on Patreon, you're going to get ready for 2 more of these foxy videos. If you're not, thank you for joining me, and many, many blessings.